In California, it could see a surge on top of a surge. The grim warning Governor Gavin Newsom says we are just days away from experiencing.
Plus, the criminal charge a former La Mesa police officer is facing nearly a year after the controversial arrest of a black man.
And former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer says he has formed an exploratory committee for a governor run. He explains why this could be his best chance for a win.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
This is a deadly disease. This is a deadly pandemic. It remains more deadly today at any point in the history of this pandemic.
Governor Gavin Newsom is warning California it may see a post-holiday surge in coronavirus cases in the coming days and weeks. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Lindsay Pena has the night off tonight. Our ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty shows how local hospitals are now preparing.
Governor Gavin Newsom Monday talking about the 4 people from San Diego who tested positive for the new COVID variant strain. He says more cases will come.
1 is now hospitalized. We also have 2 additional individuals that we identified in San Bernardino.
The state recorded 29,633 new coronavirus cases Sunday, but the governor says the numbers are misleading due to reduced testing over the holiday weekend.
We anticipate the surge on top of a surge. It's going to put a lot of pressure on hospitals and ICUs coming out of the holidays. And so we're getting into that phase right now.
Here in San Diego and across California, healthcare systems are still struggling to keep up with increasing COVID-19 cases. Hospitalizations are up 18% over the past 2 weeks. A spokesperson for the Palomar Medical Center has confirmed that patients are now being treated at the alternate care site on the property. As of Monday morning, there were 15 staffed beds and 10 patients receiving care. The site allows hospitals to focus on patients with the most acute needs. The National Guard was called in to run the facility. As cases surge, there's also a call to bring back the USNS Mercy to either San Diego or Los Angeles. The ship was sent to Los Angeles last March, treating non-COVID patients to help free up hospitals. We've reached out to the Navy about the ship's current plans, but haven't heard back. According to the LA Times, the ship is in dry dock right now for repairs in Portland, and that could take months. Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
So for now, the stay-at-home order will stay in effect here in Southern California. Dr. Mark Galley says that the 4-week projections for Southern California do show demand exceeding ICU capacity. The order will be lifted when ICU projections are above or equal to 15%. Right now, Southern California's ICU capacity remains at 0%. And here are the latest numbers for San Diego County. More than 3,000 new cases were reported today. That brings our total to more than 171,000. And there were 6 new deaths, bringing our total of that to just under 1,600.
More than 351,000 Americans have now died from COVID-19. The vaccines offer a glimmer of hope. But as ABC's Rena Roy reports, their rollout has been anything but smooth.
As COVID-19 spreads rapidly across the U.S., vaccinations can't happen fast enough. The first nurse in New York to get her shot 3 weeks ago got her second dose on Monday.
Let's look forward to 21 as a year where we can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
But with such high demand for the vaccine coast to coast, some people have been getting turned away, even after waiting overnight in a 3-mile-long line in Daytona Beach, Florida.
It's tremendously frustrating. I've been trying to get a spot and you can't get a spot.
Supply is still limited, so we ask you that you bear with us, and they're going to be administering vaccines as quickly as can.
The CDC reports more than 4 million people have been vaccinated, despite the goal of 20 million by the end of 2020, set by Operation Warp Speed. Chief Advisor Moncef Slaoui downplaying the delays on CNN, saying it's up to state officials to handle distribution.
Nothing has gone wrong. What we have committed to was to have 20 million doses of vaccine available for the American people.
This as a record 125,000 Americans are hospitalized with the virus, according to the COVID tracking project. Healthcare workers overwhelmed.
It's like treading water from 100 feet below the surface. You're already drowning, but you just have to keep trying because that's what you do.
And now growing concern about a possible surge in cases after the holidays. The TSA reporting more than 3.3 million people took to the skies over the weekend as health experts sound the alarm about a new and potentially more contagious variant of COVID-19, originally detected in the UK and now here in the US. Dr. Ashish Jha on NBC.
It will end up infecting so many more people that the total number of people who will get sick and die is much, much worse.
The new variant is not believed to be more deadly, and scientists say the vaccines will likely work against it. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The United Kingdom is under a new coronavirus lockdown. Today, Prime Minister Boris Johnson unveiled the strictest orders since last spring. While workers have been lining up to get vaccinated, a new strain of COVID that we've already referred to has hit the UK hard, and it's now spread worldwide, including San Diego. UK residents are ordered to stay home except for essential activities. And you can keep up with any developments surrounding coronavirus by downloading the free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
A former La Mesa police officer is now being charged in the controversial arrest of a black man last year. The San Diego County District Attorney's Office now says that Matthew Dages falsified a police report. As our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala explains, video of that incident sparked outrage.
Hey, bro.
Hey, what'd I tell you?
He is pleased that something is actually being done.
Hey, bro, you can't do that.
District Attorney Summer Stephan announcing a criminal charge is being filed against Matthew Dages, a former La Mesa police officer at the center of the controversial arrest of Amari Johnson back in May. In a statement, Stephan said in part, "When someone in a position of trust, such as a police officer, commits a crime, it causes tremendous harm and shakes the community's confidence in those who are sworn to protect them."
We definitely feel that more charges should be filed.
Attorney Troy Owens represents Amari Johnson in a civil suit. He says Monday's announcement of the felony charge against Dages was a step in the right direction for his client.
His initial reaction was that it was a relief and a breath of fresh air that something is actually being done.
The complaint alleges that Dages filed a police report containing false information regarding the reason for Johnson's arrest.
You're being placed under arrest for 241C, okay?
As well as his actions. Video of the incident shortly after the death of George Floyd sparked outrage and protest last year.
I have no reason to be detained by you, bro.
The officer could be seen shoving Johnson down onto a bench and handcuffing him.
There are some questions as it relates to the origin of the contact between the two of them.
After body cam video was released, the police department did not pursue charges against Johnson, and Dages was later fired. A statement from acting La Mesa Police Chief Ray Sweeney says in part, "We have worked closely with the San Diego District Attorney's Office over the past several months on this matter. The La Mesa Police Department holds each and every member of the department to the highest standards of integrity in order to protect and serve our community and keep its trust." Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Dages' arraignment is scheduled for March 9th. If convicted, he could face up to 3 years in prison. Coming up tonight, new at 6, you're going to hear from Vice Mayor of La Mesa about what this means for the city now moving forward. 2 workers are hurt after an explosion at a construction site in Mission Valley. The ABC 10 News breaking news tracker was there as those men were hoisted down. We're told they were working on the 3rd floor of a parking garage when a piece of machinery exploded. The men needed to be put into those rescue baskets and lowered to the waiting ambulances below. No word yet on the severity of their injuries or what caused the explosion.
And former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer has taken his most significant step toward a run for governor. Faulconer formed an exploratory committee ahead of a potential campaign. ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains why the ongoing recall effort could be Faulconer's best chance to unseat Gavin Newsom.
You know, obviously, I'm very excited to take this next step. There'll be a lot of work still to go.
Former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer says he has what it takes to get California through the coronavirus pandemic.
But yet when we see things like, outdoor dining is not allowed, no science to that. When we see the delay in safely reopening our schools, you see that frustration.
On Monday, Faulconer announced that he would launch a committee to explore a run for governor, a step that will allow him to raise money, conduct research, and almost always leads to a formal campaign.
An exploratory committee means you're really serious about running. It's no longer rumors.
Unseating Governor Newsom would be no easy task, and that's because Faulconer is a Republican in a state where Democrats outnumber Republicans in registration 2-1. But the ongoing recall effort over Governor Newsom's handling of the coronavirus pandemic could help level the playing field. Recall petitioners say they have about 60% of the signatures needed by a March deadline to force a special election. If that were the case, Faulconer, a moderate Republican, could avoid a primary, meaning he wouldn't have to shift to the right and alienate key blocks of voters.
And he could get the Republicans on the right and the independents in the center, and potentially an alliance.
Faulconer says it's not about partisanship, but leadership, a message he'd have to make loud and clear. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
In a statement, a spokesman for Newsom said, in part, Californians appreciate Newsom's decisive action and support his current focus on distributing vaccines so we can safely reopen schools and businesses and provide relief for families and small businesses. It goes on to say, Mayor Faulconer and other Trump supporters want California taxpayers to waste $100 million on a special election redo mere months before a regularly scheduled election. The Trump train doesn't want to leave the station, but Kevin Faulconer is all aboard. And the 3 new members of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors were sworn in today. Joel Anderson, Tara Lawson-Remer, and Nora Vargas took their oaths of office virtually. Each gave a short speech thanking voters and their family members for their support. The full board will meet tomorrow morning to select a new chairperson and officers.
President Trump could face legal action over his call Saturday to Georgia's Secretary of State, asking him to overturn that state's election results. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the fallout from the call sending shockwaves down Capitol Hill.
It's a remarkable recording.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
President Donald Trump heard pressuring Georgia's top election official, Republican Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
On the call, Trump is repeatedly heard pushing him to find enough votes to flip Joe Biden's win in the Peach State. The president at times lobbying vague legal threats if Raffensperger did not comply.
You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense.
But the votes in Georgia have already been counted 3 times, including an extensive hand recount and signature match audit. The results unchanged. Joe Biden won Georgia. Raffensperger telling Good Morning America the president is misinformed and the election was fair and accurate.
The data that he has is just plain wrong.
The backlash swift.
Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States.
But that's not stopping 140 House Republicans and at least 12 Republican senators from challenging the Electoral College results when Congress convenes on Wednesday. The move is mostly political theater. They don't have the votes to overturn Biden's victory. And as the president sows doubt on election integrity in Georgia, he's holding a rally in the state on the eve of all important Senate runoff races there, whose winners will decide whether Republicans or Democrats will hold the majority in the Senate. President-elect Joe Biden is also campaigning for Democrats, not addressing the call specifically, but saying,
politicians cannot assert, take, or seize power. Power is given, granted by the American people alone. And we can never give that up.
Meanwhile, the district attorney in Georgia's Fulton County is not ruling out the possibility of filing state charges against President Trump or his aides who were involved in that call. Some legal experts have questioned if the president violated any election interference laws. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News in Washington.
Powerful waves are continuing to break along our beaches. The high surf is creating challenging swimming conditions, even for the most experienced swimmers. And our breaking news tracker was at Sunset Cliffs this afternoon as one surfer was rescued. The surfer says that he was just checking out Rum Runner's Cave when waves began pushing him against the rocks. Witnesses called 911. He tells us he was thankful they called for help.
Just really just getting thrashed, bashed around, and was really just not having a good time.
North Pacific storms are churning up the swell in the Pacific Ocean. A high surf advisory is now in effect through Saturday.